Here are some of the baby plants that I planted for my daughter. These are mine. That's bell pepper, these right here. And finally some of them came up. These are spinach of some type of June's. Here's some of those long beans. Here's some cucumbers. And so we go around here. These are beefsteak tomatoes. I can get them camera straight here. And if we go over here, these are last year's peppers. And they're blooming like crazy. We kept them sort of safe inside my shed for the colder weather and the frost. We just tuck them in these buckets inside my little shed. And look like salvaged them. We got quite a few jalapenos off from them so far. This is some Aussie tomatoes. These are actually a mixture of Aussie and beefsteak, I think. And this is an old last year's tomato plant. Probably gonna have to get rid of it. I don't like it's doing much, but I planted some babies down there so they can come up. These are actually paper shell pecan trees that have come up that I planted. There's one down here. If you take a good look at him, I can find him and see his little leaves. And these, of course, are tomatoes. It's black cherry and there's Sweet Million. I got the black cherries from Gary Pillarchick in the Rusted Garden. These are homesteads I got from Gary. And these are different types of beefsteak, Cherokee purple. Here's some, these are tamarillos, by the way. These are tamarillo plants. Somewhere right here, yeah, here I've got some brandywine that I got from Gary Pillarchick in the Rusted Garden. Brandywine, there's a brandywine right there, according to the label. These are my daughters. I don't really know how to pronounce the name of those. They're supposed to be able to handle the heat here in Louisiana. I want you to come over here and look. I'm afraid sort of to pull him up, but these are paper shell pecan trees that I've planted from seed. I just stuck them down there in the ground. There's one here somewhere if I can get a hold of him. He done got real big. I'm sort of there. You see that? Look at that big old beautiful leaves on that thing. Just broke a leaf off of my pepper plant trying to show it to you. Anyway, that's that. These are paper shell pecan trees I got trying to sprout, and so are these in this. They're in long cylinders I got off from the idea from YouTube. Can't remember the channel right now. But as we come out here beside my shed, we have, man, we got a lot of stuff trying to grow, but I planted the black cherry, which will climb up this wire. I don't think you can see it too well, but these are 8-foot poles, and this, we drove these steel posts down in the ground, and we tied the 8-foot 4x4 post to the steel post. These, I think, are collards, and we planted some squash and cucumbers, and I can't really tell what's what at this point. I can sure tell it in the eating though. These are some beets. They have gotten pretty big as far as the leaves, but I don't know how they're going to do. I hadn't seen any real good sized beets. Anyway, here's some of the variety of tomatoes we planted. They're so beautiful. There's finally got some of them up, Gary. I think that you at least gave me a desire. And here's some of the peas that I planted. These are sweet peas. And there's some over there. I probably planted them too close, but I got sort of crazy there for a little bit. I want to look at these right here. All the way down here on this side, there's brandywine. These are those things that look like potato leaves. And in the center, I'm not really sure they're a variety, maybe beefsteak. On the other side over there, they're Cherokee purple. I planted brandywine on one side, Cherokee purple on the other, and probably beefsteak or Aussie, one or the other, here in the middle. They tell me that those Aussie tomato plants, look at that, Isn't that a bunch of tomatoes? I've got 250 of them planted, I think. Here's some leftover, I don't know if you can see it or not, arugula, and it's got a nasty taste at first to me, but I like it. Here's 2 black cherry plants. These things will grow real tall. I'd like to show you this right here real quick. And you can't see it too well. Here's some lettuce we actually pulled up. It's gotten so big. You gotta have planted so much. I do things in a big way, I guess. Maybe sometimes in my chagrin. But here's some cabbage, a few little cabbages. These are all types of beans, bush beans, butter beans, long beans, purple hull peas. Here's 2 black cherry tomatoes. There's an Aussie, and there's an Aussie tomato. And these are my strawberries, which I love, I guess, more than anything on this planet. These are Eevees. I got these from Amazon. These are Eevees that I got from Amazon. Here's some new Eevees that I planted this year. The big plants are actually Louisiana plants. I planted 72 in these 2 beds last fall, and they all died except about 3 or 4 in that. It's actually 4. And you see these babies here. I don't know if you can see it real well. Not we see there. They're coming right on up, but it's got these bare root from Amazon, these Eevees, and they just started growing instantly almost. These are some of the last fall's plants that I planted that came here from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They're actually probably Hammond or somewhere in that area. But anyway, they're Louisiana strawberry plants. And the small ones here that are coming up, and I'm so grateful. These babies here, they just started sprouting almost instantly, of which I'm so thankful. These are the ones I built me a 16-inch bed by tying 2x4s, tacking them to 4 of those posts on each side, cutting them as a 4x8 little raised bed. And I got those posts for $1 a piece. These 2x4s were given actually in a load of furniture that I bought about 5 years ago. And so I cut them up, painted them so they wouldn't rot so quickly. And I tied around here some wire that I got from Home Depot. Here, it's real nice, I think. This, of course, is a plum tree. And it hadn't started blooming yet. I'm sort of a little bit worried about that, but it's still green, it's still moist. And look at all these. These are variety tomatoes. I don't even remember what they are, to be honest with you. I planted so many of them. Let me go over here and show you all these things. I've got over 240, 50 tomato plants planted. There's these, and this, of course, that's a magnolia tree of my wife's. This here is another set of tomatoes, and you see this particular plum tree is blooming. Here's my little fig tree, one of them. I have 3, thank God. I appreciate the Lord blessing me. It cost me some money, but I'm thankful because I'm just glad. There's some neighbor's house, of course, and this is my, I can't remember the name of it off. Here's the name right here. A chia persimmon. They're the type that gets, they have to get real ripe or they're going to be sour to your mouth. Got that from all these trees I got from Clegg's Nursery on Greenville Springs with Mr. Scott Rica. Probably one of the most wonderful people I've had done business with in my life. Very honest, very kind. He's just a great man. Scott Rica is his name. If you ever go to Clegg's Nursery, he'll treat you right. Believe me. Anything breaks, dies on you, in a few weeks. Look at all them tomatoes. I got these things in 5-gallon buckets. And this right here, of course, is dill. It's doing well. This is chamomile. I don't even really know what you do with it. I just saw it on Gary Pillarchuk's channel, him doing it. This is a loquat. And here's a little thing I built out of 2x4s. I painted the outside with, actually it wasn't paint, I put varnish on it on the outside to keep it from deteriorating with the weather. But I got radishes planted in there. That's my reddish. That's my purely reddish raised bed. Isn't that nice? Out of a few cheap 2x4s. Here's my mulch bin that I'm just putting mulch and garbage and everything in there to see if I can get it to go. I built this little table out of, well, you see that stuff you make barbecue grill stuff out of, shelves or barbecue grill. I used to have a big barbecue grill I made, and we didn't use it much, so I just dismounted it and made me a table here for my planting. There is a mulberry tree that was broken off. It had rotten at a certain place, and I asked Scott Rika from Clegg's Nursery if I could have it. He said, yeah, take it. And so that thing is going to produce some berries. I know I've shown you all this before, but all this stuff here, here's blueberries, blueberry plant, I don't remember the name of it. It's a Brightwell. It don't look like it's doing much, but it's trying to bud. Here's a different type, I think. Let me see what the name of it is. It is a Climax blueberry. It's got blooms all over it. Here's a muscadine, and this, if you can see it on this thing here, I can't even see it myself. Maybe I got it in the wrong spot. I'll let this thing focus a little bit if it will. It's Carlos. I didn't focus too well, but that's my Carlos muscadine. Here's a Kiowa, I think. Now this is Arapaho blackberry vine. There's Arapaho. There's a Arapaho that died for some reason. Don't know why. I just kicked the bucket. All these are Arapaho except for this one. This is the Kiowa. This is one that has stickers on it. Got this planted. I'm hoping that they'll produce some berries. And I got some blooms on them. Here's all these are Kiowas. I mean Apaches, except for that one Kiowa with the stickers. And here's another one of the Carlos grapevine muscadines. They're growing. I have this. These are the persimmon trees here. I don't know if you can see it too well or not, but it's got blooms on it. It's the Hachia. That's not right. Let's see if I can see it. Fuyugaki. Fuyu persimmon. They're supposed to be real big, sweet. I know this sounds a little odd, but I'm going to pull it up a little bit maybe where you can see it. These are just sacks of Miracle-Gro potting mix that I planted some cantaloupe, watermelon, and I even stuck 4 tomatoes in there just to see if they grow. Cut the bottom like a slit out of the bottom of the sack so they can get to the real dirt if they need to, so they can have plenty of rooting. Of course, there's the blooms on that persimmon tree. And look at that thing going to crazy. It's done shot off a whip in the nether regions. Actually the upper regions, I guess you could say. This is a mulberry tree. My wife tells me these things right here are mulberries. If they are, if those are mulberries, we're going to have a bunch of berries, even on this one tree. And we got 3 of them all together by the kindness of our great God. I know I keep mentioning that, but I always give him credit because he's the one who lets anything grow. You know, people may not understand that, but that's okay. And this is an old persimmon, a native persimmon tree, and like I said before, I don't know if it's a male or a female, but if it's a male, we'll have to get rid of it. It's useless. I don't understand that, me being a male, but that's what they tell me. And there's some of those cantaloupe and all that stuff. That was a lemon tree, by the way, here. I've shown you this before. But that's a lemon tree. This right here, I think it's a navel orange. Let's see. Take a good look at this thing here. This is a Washington navel orange. And would you look at all the blooms on that thing? I hope each one of them was an orange. Man, you're talking about loving oranges. Can't eat them much, the old diabetes, but I eat them anyway. Diabetes or not. Here's one that's thing is broken off, the little sign here. But this is a ruby red grapefruit. I'm hoping they'll do fine. They like all the blooms over there on that. I hope this video don't run out. There's so many things. This here, see what this is. This is a brown select satsuma. Like I said, I got all these from Clegg's Nursery, and Scott Rica is the one that sold them to me. And if you folks live around here in Baton Rouge area, go over to Scott's and pick up some stuff. Because I'm telling you, I'm not trying to solicit business, but he's just a great human being. He'll treat you so fair. There's another loquat tree. I don't even know if you can see it too well. There's a loquat. Now I'm going to put some pictures. I think I'm going to take a picture of everything. This is a kumquat, and that little baby there was a kumquat. Let me get him so you can see him. Here's a kumquat tree. We got a lot of those little, I call them baby oranges because they're sweet. Only thing bitter about them is the seeds, so you spit them out if you want. See what this was. This is that satsuma. And this is another one of those fuyugaki persimmons. I don't know if you can see it too well or not. It's hard to see out here in the light for me even. But that's a fuyugaki. Another one of those trees just blooming. Got that from Scott Rica. These things here, the sun like it got to them. These are some of those tamarillos that got big. I had to break the leaves off. But they tell me they'll get big and they're edible. They're like a tomato. Here's my 2 pumpkins I planted just for my granddaughter because she loved pumpkins so well. Here's some watermelons that I planted. There's some of them coming up. I don't think they like the mixture of my soil. But I use a Miracle Grow. They say somebody that's done a lot of bad things to make it, but it sure helps my plants to grow. That's what I was interested in. That was another fig tree, by the way. And this right here, what is this? This is a Harlan sweet orange. Another one of those wonderful fruits. You know what's peculiar about Scott Rica? If he thinks something won't do well, he'll tell you not to buy it. I mean, he said it don't do well in this area. This, believe it or not, and I don't know how it's going to do, but it's just a stick that I cut off of that pear tree right over there. Man told me I could cut me, you can get it up here closer. Told me I could cut a stick off from it, all that I wanted, and put it in the ground, try to grow it, and I just stuck it in the ground and it's growing. I don't know how. Here's another big mulberry tree. And here's this mulberry tree. It's got mulberries coming on it all over it. This was the older one. It was out there in the sun. This is a little loquat that I got from my daughters. Just dug it up out of her yard. See him? I'm not sure how he's going to grow. I'm showing you the video first, and then I'm going to take a picture of each tree and show it to you. Here's the other nectarine tree. This one's actually blooming. I don't know why. It looks like it's sit out here in the middle of nowhere. You see it? Like I said, I know I'll keep mentioning it, but I got all this from Scott Rica. This is this is some mustard I let get out of the. I didn't let it. I just decided I just let her grow. And just see how big that mustard done got. But you know these things right here, these flowers, man, they're great. I love them. I can just pinch them off, eat them. They're great tasting, good in salad. Look at that. I love them. Now one more tree to show you. Then I'm going to take some pictures. Yeah, this is the last tree I'm going to show you. This is another one of those little babies here, these little loquats I got from my daughter. So I'm signing off. Again, probably pretty ugly right now, it don't matter. All of us got our own problems. But I'm a happy ugly, happy ugly because I got me a garden and I could eat some food. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Harlan Parrott in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.